In this video today, I'm going to explain why I'm light years ahead of niggas my age. And I'm going to just keep it real, 100%, right? First and foremost, my work ethic is just unmatched. I rarely ever see somebody who works as hard as me. And this is not just pertaining to what I do with my online fitness coaching business or training specifically for my sport. This is just in general. I don't really see people grinding as hard as me. And does it bother me? No, it doesn't bother me. What is my reasoning for why I work hard? Because I grew up in a household where nothing was given to me. I grew up in a household where the things that I worked hard for and earned were still not given to me. I had to take shit. I literally had to take stuff. So that just was my mentality and understanding growing up. I have to take what I want out of this life. Nobody's gonna give you what you deserve. Nobody's gonna give you what you work for. This world is crooked. It's unfair. People step on each other's necks. People backstab. People lie. People cut corners. People sacrifice their morality. People sacrifice, their faith in order to accomplish what they want. And I'm not gonna sit here and stand in front of the camera and tell you I haven't done the same. Yeah, maybe sometimes I've done something that does not represent who I am as a person. But we all make mistakes. But the reason why I'm so ahead of those in my age group is because, first and foremost, of my upbringing, my background, and I know the game. Let's talk about my background. I come from an immigrant family. We came from West Africa. We came in the late 90s, right? And you got to understand that every 10 years, every 5 to 10 years, there's a narrative about what's going on. You have to study social economics to really understand what was going on, right? So in the early 2000s, late 90s, immigrants were looked down upon in this country. No matter where you came from, there was always something to be said about you. Unless you fit, the social standards that they made up, then, you were looked down upon. For my particular situation, my family comes from West Africa. I'm not even supposed to be in this country if we're keeping it real. I am like a 0.00001 statistic. My family won a visa lottery that got us to this country. Now, why were we able to survive? Because when we came to this country, my parents knew the deal and they had an unwavering work ethic, both of my parents. My mother was working full-time while she was pregnant with me. My dad was working 2 jobs and he was miserable, but he did it anyways. Because of my parents' unyielding work ethic, we were able to live a better life. Gradually, we're able to move into, first we were in suites. When we came here to Las Vegas, we were living in suites. So suites are like weekly rentals. We were living in suites. Then we upgraded to apartments. Then my dad got fired and no money was coming in. And at one point we were sleeping in the church. At one point, my parents literally had me and my siblings living with other people. Then we moved into apartments. Didn't have the money for those apartments, got evicted, moved back to the suites. But we just kept going and kept leveling up and kept grinding. Eventually, we got into a house and we were renting a house, however you want to say it. Then we just kept leveling up, ended up in a house. And growing up, I didn't have a strong relationship with my father. I didn't really know who my dad was as a person. The only time I got a glimpse of hearing who my dad was when he was telling stories and talking to his friends on the phone. And I was just in the environment. So the one thing that I was able to pick up from my dad by the grace of God was his work ethic. I've seen this man pull off some crazy things in moments of desperation, right? Where we needed a win, where we needed something to happen. I saw him go there and handle business and pull it out the mud. So I developed this faith-based system of you can achieve anything you want as long as you put in the work. But one of my greatest blessings was, no, I didn't come from a family of money. I didn't come from a family of financial literacy. I didn't come from a family that really, bonded well together. The one main advantage I had was work ethic, how to outwork everybody. Work like your life depends on it. Survival, So, on top of that, I was picked on, I was bullied at every step of the way. I was bullied in elementary school. I was bullied in, matter of fact, I went to 4 different elementary schools. I just kept getting in trouble. I was a troublemaker. We all have our little theories. Personally, I just thought that the teachers favored the girls more. And now we're finding out that's the truth, because 80% of teachers are women. So I was dealing with teachers who are women, who some days they come in and they're not in the best mood, and I get the short end of the stick from it. Because as a boy, when you're raising a boy, you gotta understand, boys are very active and aggressive and playful and don't really think much. We just do whatever we want and suffer the consequences later. But to continue on with the story, I wasn't a troublemaker, but I was always getting in trouble because I was an easy target. I was easy to pick on. So, luckily, God blessed me with a certain level of wisdom and understanding to understand, like, hey, like, all these trials that you're facing, all this stuff that's happening to you is superficial. It's conditioned. It's not real. It's just your environment. It's just your situation. And I always understood that. And I knew that this beautiful life that I was living, this fresh breath of air that I was able to get every single day, there's no way that I can experience such beauty and then my life is just misery. So I understood that eventually I was going to be granted freedom by getting older, and I can make my own life decisions. So why am I doing better than a lot of guys my age? It's very simple. Your comfortability is your kryptonite. It's very easy for me to do things and find success because I don't have people holding me down. I'm a very vocal person. I grew up in a household where I had all women. It was me and my dad were the only guys. I had my 3 sisters, my auntie, and my grandma living with us, so it was all women. There was a lot of arguments there. I had to learn, in order to get my point across in these arguments, I had to learn how to communicate effectively and communicate better and articulate and use proper vocabulary terms. I had to rely on my intelligence to communicate, not brute force, not yelling and screaming, not intimidation. I had to rely on communication skills. So every single thing, every single trial that I went through is turning for good, because now I can communicate better. Now I'm resilient. I just recently, within the last 2-3 years, I recently toned down my anger, because I used to have anger issues, right? I would let it build up until I lashed out. And the thing about me is, when I, they call it crashing out nowadays. When I crash out, I literally I literally just don't fucking think. Like, I turn into an animal. Like, my consciousness to calm down, like, literally disappears. It's like, I'm ready to go. But I learned to not let people, you know, throw you off your horse. You always gotta stay calm. You know, the leader always has to stay calm no matter what. So, I'm very conscious and I'm very aware of my situation, my life. And I know that I have a huge target on my back, because not only are my peers envious of my success, it's not just them that are trying to take me down. You know, I have no kids. My credit is pretty solid. I don't have too much of a criminal record. Yeah, I made mistakes, but who hasn't? You know, everybody's gonna get caught here and there. I stay out of trouble, and I have a good head on my shoulders. I have a good work ethic, and I'm just a genuine and loving person. You know, I provide value everywhere I go. So, why do I say I'm one of the best in the race within my ranking? Because, my third point, I know the game. I compare myself to guys. I don't even compare myself to 18, 19-year-olds. I compare myself to guys age 23 to age 30. That's my ranking. I compare myself strength-wise, physique, financial, success-wise, all of the above. And I put in the work every single day. I don't take days off. I don't make excuses, because if I make excuses, I don't feel fulfilled for the day. It's all about being consistent and grinding every single day, not taking days off, not giving excuses. I don't give excuses, because every single chapter of my life was survival mode. I never had the luxury of comfortability. It was kind of like a tormenting, not really tormenting, but just like I knew what I needed to do. That's just put it like that. I've made a lot of mistakes earlier on in my life to know that this life that we're living is not a game. It's real life. It's for real. The consequences for your mistakes are dire, even in the littlest instances. And I always understood this. So, what can you do with this information that you've been given? Be very, very, very careful with the decisions you make. Learn self-control, impulse control, right? Learn communication skills. Learn discipline. Learn honor and humility. Why? Because God is always watching you. Every time you decide to resist the temptation, every time you decide to do what's good, you get rewarded, you get points, right? Every time you decide to fall in temptation, every time you decide to sin, it brings you farther away from God. And I'm going to be transparent and let you guys know I struggle with some forms of addiction. And I am going to continuously work and fight every single day. Every day. Life is a battle for the soul. It's not about the money, the status, the recognition, the fame, the success, the women, the lifestyle. It's not about any of that. What it's about is developing your soul, developing your character, bringing up your self-worth, understanding that you are so valuable that God himself had to transform himself into a human being and suffer and die just so that you can have a better life, just so that you can breathe and have a chance of eternal freedom. As somebody who makes $6K a month, $7K a month, I'm not rich, but I'm doing well enough to take a fresh breath of air in our rapidly declining economy. I'm doing okay to where I can breathe in and out. Can I take a day off? Possibly, but what would happen if I did? Mentally, it wouldn't be good, because I have a purpose that I need to fulfill on this earth. My purpose is to do the will of God and do it with the talents he's given me and bless his name within myself. I got to take care of myself. I got to take care of my family. I have to take care of my extended family. I have to build my kingdom. I have to build my legacy. I am a grown adult man, age 25. I don't get to just party. I don't get to have fun. I don't get to hang out. Learn how to say no. Learn how to get yourself out of situations. Learn how to make up stories and excuses to move yourself out of rooms and places and associations you don't need to be in. Master the art of communication. Tell people, hey, I want to take my life in a different direction. I want to try something new. I would like for you to respect my newfound decision. I'm going to take a break from this friend group and really just find and discover myself. I want to learn more about where I came from, who this God is that everyone's talking about, build my religious status. I just need some time alone. Learning how to communicate will save you so much trouble. It will save you out of a lot of situations. It is a competition. That's the last point I'm going to end off with. This life that we live is competition. Everything is competition. The money, the clothes, the stat, everything. But the only way to win the game is to tap in with your spirituality, tap in with your religious life, your religious background. I want you to understand that the world that we live in is corrupt, is twisted. And the winners that are winning on a tipped scale. The guys who got the girl you want are winning on a tipped scale. Nothing is fair. So, how can you genuinely become a dominant force in this generation, in this life that we are living? Simple. Put all of your faith in God. Make God your best friend. Tell him your deepest, darkest secrets. Confess to him whenever you slip up. Communicate with him. Ask him for guidance. Ask him for answers. Ask him for wisdom. Ask him to present himself in a way that you can communicate well and understand him. And you will see change in your life. I made this video right now while I was having a conversation with someone because I was in the moment, and you need to do things in the moment. There is no perfect time. I don't want to take nothing from you. There's abundance. There's plenty to go around. I just want to connect because as a human being, it is our natural desire to communicate and connect. So I just want to connect. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys. If you feel what I'm saying, if you resonate with this message, if you want to get to know me more and understand how I can help change and benefit your life, click the link in the bio. Let's book you on a one-on-one call. And let's change your life.